Welcome back to the Tax Show with Peter Stephan from the Tax Resolution Institute. Jim Felton is here from Greenberg and Bass. I'm Brian Whitman from The Morning Answer. We gather every Sunday afternoon at this time to talk about unresolved tax issues, to talk about getting your life back on track with these tax problems, talk about bankruptcy and taking care of your financial situation. As always, it's great to have you. And by the way, I just looked at the calendar. It's the last day of March. We don't have a lot of time to file these returns, do we, Peter Stephan?
Nope, not a lot of time to file at all. We do need some lead time, but don't panic. If you don't have your paperwork together, we can help you solve that too.
Yeah, now let's talk about extensions because so the 15th will be a Monday, so it'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow will be the day that you'll have to file, April 15th, for individual taxpayers, for people like me. But you'll be happy to know, Peter, you've trained me well. I've already filed. Can you believe it? Did you think you'd ever sit here with me and I'd say I filed in a timely fashion?
Brian, I'm speechless.
Yeah, okay, right. I thought you might be. Let's talk about penalties because look, if you don't have the money to pay, I was told my whole life, I didn't always listen to this advice, but I was always told, even if you don't have the money to pay, the IRS, California Franchise Tax Board, they want you to file the return. File the return even if you don't have the money to pay the bill. Is that right?
Absolutely, Brian. The problem with people who do not file is they subject themselves to an additional penalty. That is the failure to file penalty. And the failure to file penalty is very expensive. It's 5% a month or fraction of a month for the first 5 months. Oh. So we're looking at 25% before you get out of bed. And if you file and owe, well, the penalty is much, much less, more like about a percent and a quarter a month is what you would pay if you file.
We've talked in the past about delinquent returns or unfiled returns, and I know, as you just pointed out very eloquently, there shouldn't be a year that you don't file, but, it can go 2 years. In my case, really, admittedly, my screw-ups are documented. I'm an open book. You can go year after year having not filed, and, of course, that interest is piling up, and then you get to a point, and you go, wait a minute, I don't have the paperwork, I don't have the 1099s, the 1098, the dog gate, the W-2, but you can go to the Tax Resolution Institute at taxresolutioninstitute.com or call them at 800-658-7590, and you can access all that information as you explained to us last weekend.
That's correct. We can go right to the IRS after getting your power of attorney and get the wage and income transcripts so that we have all the information that the IRS has about you, which they've received from third parties, about your income, about your mortgage interest, about your interest in dividends, and things like that. If you don't have the information, that it should be no obstacle in filing your return.
We'll get to Jim Felton in a moment here from Greenberg and Bass, but let me put it, let's use some numbers that people can really identify with if they're rolling around listening to the tax show this afternoon on The Answer. Let's say, I'm just going to pick a number now. I'm going to say it's $10,000. Let's say your tax liability on April 15th, a couple of weeks from now, is $10,000. If you don't file and then you're late, that $10,000 becomes how much?
Well, it becomes $12,500 if you go April is a month, counts as a month, even though it's only a portion of a month.
Right.
May, June, July, August. By September, you owe 25% more.
Who in the world would subject themselves to something like that, really and truly?
People who just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, and that's why, and it's so important that you said that, because to know what you don't know, to find out what you don't know right now is critical in all of this. Whether it's tax resolution, we're going to talk to Jim Felton from Greenberg and Bass about bankruptcy. If you're driving around this morning, you're sitting at home and you go, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't know if I know. There's no shame in contacting the Tax Resolution Institute, 800-658-7590. Get in touch with Jim Felton from Greenberg and Bass and find out what you don't know. There's a consultation. Some people are probably thinking, Jim, well, I don't know if I would qualify for bankruptcy. What's the process? They come to you and to find out what they currently don't know, you help them do that.
Usually within 5 minutes of a phone call, maybe 10 minutes of a phone call, we can have a conversation about their assets, about their liabilities. If there's outstanding, perhaps their business litigation that might be affecting their decision. Maybe they're involved in a lawsuit. They realize that it's costing them a lot of money. Maybe they realize that if they lose, they might have a big judgment against them. There are things that we can look at. We need to answer some questions. If after that initial conversation, which again doesn't have to last long, we determine that we can help, then we're going to need some more specific information. We're going to need the real numbers. We're going to need to contact their banks to make sure what really things look like. Much like the power of attorney that Peter uses, we would have something similar so we could contact the sources and really get a financial picture and then determine whether bankruptcy is the best option or whether we just simply use bankruptcy as leverage to try to resolve another dispute that they have.
And that's real interesting too, to use it as leverage, because folks might be involved in litigation, and there is that, which you alluded to a moment ago. If you've got a business litigation dispute, bankruptcy can often be used to resolve that issue. I mean, it can be used, of course, to restructure your own finances, but also to assist you in dealing with this litigation, if indeed it exists.
A judgment is no good to a plaintiff if they can't collect it. So oftentimes plaintiffs, if shown that they'll never collect or they won't collect but a portion, will resolve a case because they're getting something better than they would otherwise get if, in fact, the defendant was forced into a bankruptcy.